Tonight on CTV News at 5.
The tricky thing with anaplasmosis versus Lyme disease is that someone can actually be infected with both of them.
Anaplasmosis on the rise. Lyme disease isn't the only tick-borne illness of concern.
We are the longest continuously running Highland Games in Canada.
And games on. Thousands gather in Antigonish to celebrate Scottish culture.
A warm night ahead for the Maritimes. Tuesday brings a risk of thunderstorms for parts of the region.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Penopoulos. Thanks for joining us. First at 5 tonight, anaplasmosis awareness. Lyme disease is the most common tick-borne illness, but now healthcare professionals are ringing the alarm about anaplasmosis. Incidents are rapidly rising, making it the second most common disease spread by black-legged ticks. CTV's Vanessa Wright looked at the signs, symptoms, and ways to protect yourself and your loved ones. Vanessa.
Hi, Maria. And while there is no vaccine to prevent anaplasmosis, there are simple things everyone can do this summer to try to avoid it.
Anaplasmosis, another tick-borne disease making rounds across the country.
Anaplasmosis is a bacterial infection that can affect your liver and blood cells. It's transmitted through black-legged ticks.
Lyme disease is still the main concern when it comes to ticks, but health officials say anaplasmosis is worrying. There have been 245 cases of it in Nova Scotia so far this year. Experts are keeping a close watch.
The tricky thing with anaplasmosis versus Lyme disease is that someone can actually be infected with both of them. The difference between anaplasmosis and Lyme disease is the presentation.
Lyme disease has a gradual set of flu-like symptoms that presents within 7 to 14 days. Anaplasmosis has those same symptoms, but they present more suddenly, and a rash typically doesn't show up. There is no vaccine to prevent either, but there is good news.
The same medication used to treat Lyme disease is also used for anaplasmosis. Most oftenly prescribed is doxycycline. So the good thing is if someone was treated for Lyme disease, this could effectively also help to prevent anaplasmosis or reduce the duration of time that they need to be on the medication.
She says you can find that treatment at most pharmacies. During the height of tick season, prevention is key.
Definitely making sure that they're doing regular tick checks after going for a hike, wearing long sleeve clothing, socks that go up past the ankle so that way they can be tucked into longer pants, wearing a hat because again ticks can crawl up, wearing lighter clothing so you can see the ticks.
And if you think you've been bit by a tick,
the first thing I recommend is that they remove it as soon as possible. The main risk of Lyme disease being transmitted is if the tick has been attached for more than 24 hours.
If you haven't had a tick on you, I can guarantee you that either you or somebody that you know is going to get a tick on you soon because that's how prevalent they are.
And Maria, experts say the key to dealing with any tick-borne related disease is to catch it early. Getting treatment can prevent life-threatening conditions. Maria.
Oh, thank you very much, Vanessa. CTV's Vanessa Wright for us in Halifax this evening. And that brings us to tonight's web poll. We are asking, are you more concerned about tick-related diseases since the rise in anaplasmosis cases? These are your options. Yes, I am more cautious than I was before. Or no, I am just as cautious as I was before. And your final option, no, I'm not concerned. Go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to weigh in and to see the latest poll results. All right, over to the anchor desk we go now, where Todd Battis is standing by with a look at the day's headlines. Hi, Todd.
Hi there, Maria. We're going to begin tonight with a call from outside Canada that is being blamed for triggering a major Halifax police response to Bedford, in fact, in an apartment complex early Monday. The caller claimed to have shot his father and taken his mother hostage. Turns out that call was fake, and now police are looking for those responsible. We'll have the details at the top of 6. People in Port Elgin, New Brunswick are still wondering why someone would break into the area's food bank. Meat and produce, just about anything they had was taken. The food bank serves about 130 homes and shelves have been mostly restocked. Coming up at 6, we'll have reaction to the break-in. Well, is it time to toss out the paper? Halifax City Council will be looking at whether it's time to do just that. for the next election. Data from the most recent municipal election showed the vast majority of voters chose to cast a ballot electronically. So we'll take a look at the issue that they'll be facing coming up in the newscast. I think Caleb Mitchell got his microphone back, and we're all set.
Yes. Butterfingers over here in the Weather Center.
Heard that thud. Those were not temperatures dropping, folks. It is hot out there and continues to be so.
Yeah, that's right. This stretch of simmering summer weather carries on into the start of this week. If you're headed out this evening right now, temperatures are in the range of around 25 to 30 degrees. There's a little bit of humidity in the air, but not too much. So in most cases, when we check in the Humidex values, it's only making things feel a couple of degrees hotter. Still, that is bringing feel-like conditions up to the high 20s and low 30s. Humidity, by the way, will continue to rise as we move through tonight into tomorrow, and the reason for that is the wind direction, and we're in a southwest wind right now. It's pretty steady. It's going to remain steady through tonight and for tomorrow, and that's bringing in some muggy air up the eastern seaboard and into the Maritimes. The winds right now sustained between about 20 and 30 kilometers per hour, and a little bit gusty as well. We're getting some gusts reported between 30 and 50. The winds remain steady from the southwest for tonight, but the wind gusts will diminish a bit as we make our way towards midnight. Over on radar and satellite, we've got some showers that are moving into northern areas of New Brunswick. There is a low risk of some brief thunderstorms within that round of showers, and as we move through this evening and tonight, those showers will come a little bit further down towards central areas of New Brunswick, even a chance of a shower getting into Fredericton, and then drift across parts of Prince Edward Island and Cape Breton overnight into early Tuesday morning. Now, later on Tuesday, as the heat and humidity builds through the day and a cold front approaches from the west, we are going to get into a further risk of some thunderstorms. The potential for New Brunswick that they could become severe. We'll talk more about that when I'm back with the forecast a little bit later on. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. Right now, though, the Fredericton Pride Parade brought thousands of people to the city's downtown over the weekend. An estimated 2,500 people took part in the parade, which began at Officers Square on Saturday afternoon. The parade route included a block of Queen and King Street. A day-long festival at Officers Square followed the parade with live performances and local vendors on site.
And our parade route was the largest ever, with around 70 to 80 paraders. Next year, we're hoping to get another street block so we can extend the parade route and make it even bigger, because support just keeps growing.
So when I came on this board, my biggest thing with this was building bridges within the community. Like, I'm thrilled with the engagement that we received today.
Fredericton Pride Festival events continue this week. This is the first Pride Parade of the summer in a large maritime city. The Halifax Pride Parade is this Saturday, followed by St. John and Charlottetown in 2 weeks. Moncton and Sydney will host community Pride parades next month. All right, time for our first break here on CTV News at 5. When we come back, we'll get to the mural of this story.
This is a complete restoration, so a lot of the mural was painted over.
St. Andrews, New Brunswick's massive mural is getting a facelift. We'll check in on the restoration when CTV News at 5 returns.
It's time to register your rig for the 2026 Big Rigs, Big Hearts, Big Results Convoy. Get your crew together and participate in this day of fun for Special Olympics. The 15th annual convoy rolls through Dartmouth October 3rd. Visit truckconvoyns.ca.
Welcome back. Well, a well-loved mural in one of our most picturesque communities is getting a makeover. CTV's Nick Moore explains.
It is a high-traffic area in downtown St. Andrews, New Brunswick, leading to the town wharf, a scene that is featured in a mural first painted here in 2007 by Jeff Slater.
You can still see the town. This historic town hasn't changed a lot. We did some research at the archives and came up with a view of St. Andrews 100 years ago. So it's a little further along now.
Slater is back this summer to refresh his masterpiece.
This is a complete restoration, so a lot of the mural was painted over, reprimed. The wood where it had to come out and be repaired was taken down. I'm sure I placed the sails a little different.
The new mural will stay true to the original for the most part.
No big changes, just a couple little Easter eggs, I think. There's going to be a little dog put on one of the vessels here that's in honor of a friend of mine's pet. He's going to be a little sailor dog on this. Moose Moose is going to make an appearance.
Slater began work on the restoration last month.
I have a real respect for his trade.
And it immediately caught the attention of visitors.
It adds to the experience, I think.
And locals downtown.
It's been really exciting to watch the process. So walking by here every day and seeing what he's done week to week.
Watching him work is amazing, the creativity as he goes and the detail.
I think it's amazing to watch an artist sort of conceive of something that big and then be able to realize it at that level of detail. It's really cool to see.
Slater says his conversations with people passing by has been an enjoyable part of the project.
They're interested in the story. They're interested in the fact that we live in a community that cares about art.
Slater says he should be finished painting here in a week, depending on the weather. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. Andrews.
And of course, the weather would play a big role. Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Jeff. I mean, what a beautiful masterpiece that is. But yes, the weather would impact his workflow.
Mural painting reminds me a little bit about meteorology because you're right there into the details, but you can't lose sight of the big picture either. Yeah, well, let's hope that they can avoid some of those thunderstorms that are expected in the region for tomorrow. We're looking out at a fairly calm scene here. This is a creek near Nasonworth in New Brunswick. I will have more on the forecast, including the risk of thunderstorms on Tuesday, right after this break.
The Explore NB Open champion for 2026 is Thomas Ponder of Alabama. Ponder claimed his first PGA Tour America's victory with a tournament record 28 under finish at Mactaquac Provincial Park. This is the third year of a 5-year partnership between the PGA and Mactaquac, so the event will return to New Brunswick next summer. This week-long event at Mactaquac was supported by about 300 volunteers.
Past few days were phenomenal. A great turnout, an amazing winner, a group of volunteers that we just couldn't do it all without. They just know what they're doing and they get to work. So year 3 has been phenomenal and we look forward to year 4 and 5.
Ponder, by the way, was presented the cup from New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt late Sunday afternoon. Even the weather cooperated for this year's event with only one short rain delay, Kaylin. Next week, by the way, PGA Tour Americas travels to Ottawa for the 9th event of the season. It's nice to see the sun shining when so many eyes are on our region, hey?
Yeah, that's right. So we've had a lot of sunny and hot weather as of late, and the few weather systems that have come into the Maritimes have been mostly pretty quick moving and produce some periods, sort of some showery conditions and a risk of some thunderstorms. And that's what's coming up with our next weather system arriving late Tuesday into Wednesday as well. Let's take a look at our sunrise and sunset times here. We're going to go to the Public Gardens in Halifax for today. Probably a nice day to cool off and sit in the shade on one of those benches for a little while, as it was, especially away from coastal areas. Very warm, hot, and humidity starting to rise a little bit, but it's going to be climbing up a little bit higher for tomorrow. Definitely a bit more of a muggy feel to the air in the Maritimes coming up on Tuesday. Now, barometric pressure right now is still sitting towards the higher side, especially in Nova Scotia at the airport right now, 1,020 millibars reported, and that's because we have an area of high pressure that's centered just to the south of us. But what we need to turn our attention to is a low pressure system and the associated weather front that's currently making its way through northern Ontario, because this could act as a trigger for some thunderstorms Tuesday afternoon and evening for the province of New Brunswick that definitely have the potential of maybe becoming severe, and that's because of a combination of factors: building heat and humidity through the day, the lift from that weather front, and some strong winds that are going to be moving in aloft of the region. So taking a look at things on radar right now for this evening, we do have some showers moving into the north of New Brunswick. That is accompanied by a low risk of some small thunderstorms. Those ones not likely to be severe, but as we make our way through this evening and tonight, that area of rain and showers is going to be passing a little bit further into central areas of New Brunswick, even a chance of a shower later this evening for Fredericton, and then those showers during the overnight into early Tuesday morning coming across Prince Edward Island and Cape Breton. Other parts of the Maritimes first thing Tuesday morning, partly cloudy conditions. Fog patches. The fog will be dissipating. There'll be some heat and humidity that builds through the day, and then we have that cold front approaching the St. Lawrence River Valley in through Quebec. And as it does so, that's when it's going to bring about the chance of seeing some isolated thunderstorms develop in New Brunswick, but where those thunderstorms do develop, they could become quite strong and include things like locally strong wind gusts, maybe directly in the vicinity of the thunderstorm up to around 90 kilometers per hour, frequent lightning, downpours, the potential for hail, and because of the stronger winds aloft for tomorrow, there's a higher chance that some of those thunderstorms could start rotating. And when you have rotating thunderstorms, it does increase the risk that a tornado could be produced, though it should be noted that not all rotating thunderstorms do end up producing tornadoes. In fact, by percentage-wise, it's still a low percentage that end up developing a tornado. But there is that risk of more severe thunderstorms in the province of New Brunswick for tomorrow. Now, winds for tonight and for tomorrow are out of the southwest, and in the afternoon on Tuesday, they'll have some gusts between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. Tonight around the Maritimes, pretty warm night. Most of the lows won't be much cooler than around 15 to 18 degrees. And here's a look at the high temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow. And most of those highs away from some coastal areas are expected to get up into the high 20s and low 30s. Now, there will be some more moderate temperatures where that southwest wind is a little bit more onshore, and that includes around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. There, those direct coastal areas could see some high temperatures, low to mid-20s, but probably still feeling high 20s or close to 30 with the humidity in the air. Here's the thunderstorm risk map for Tuesday. So again, the risk is highest Tuesday afternoon and evening for those severe thunderstorms in the province of New Brunswick. Once again, though, they will be hit and miss by nature. So even if we do have some develop and move in, not every single community will get underneath one of those thunderstorms. A lower risk Tuesday evening and night for Prince Edward Island and parts of the north and west of Nova Scotia. And that front shifts towards the east on Wednesday, and so on Wednesday the risk of thunderstorms is going to be a little bit higher in the province of Nova Scotia, especially in the north and east of the province. In the forecast for Wednesday, aside from that risk of some thunderstorms for Nova Scotia, it's a mix of sun and cloud and temperatures that are going to be pretty warm. Well, let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from 8-year-old Annabelle Thibault from Bathurst, New Brunswick. Annabelle sent us a drawing of a beautiful day, a big rainbow making an appearance as the sun shines through behind a passing shower. Thank you, Annabelle. Great job. Weather watchers can come in to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. So for many families, participating in after-school activities comes down to cost and location. In rural communities, those can be significant barriers. CTV's Maria Saru has more on a project in eastern PEI that looks to ease some of those challenges.
A little glue and a lot of work, all going into a bigger goal for a property that has sat unused in recent years.
There really isn't a specific place for youth to go that's just theirs.
BGC Charlottetown recently completed a needs assessment for Montague and the surrounding region. It found affordability remains a real barrier to after-school and recreational programming. Roughly 19% of children live below the after-tax low-income measure. That's higher than both the provincial average and the national rate.
Rural areas, not unique to PEI, but certainly a challenge in PEI. You're far away from everything. To be able to access transportation not only has a cost associated with it, but it has a scheduling component. You need to have that adult or guardian who's willing to take you around.
In a few months, this 66-year-old house is set to become a drop-in youth center for 12 to 18-year-olds. Most programs will be free or low cost, from recreation and music to cooking, life skills, arts, and more. Canadian adhesives and sealants company LePage is partly funding the project to mark its 150th anniversary. Its founder was born on the island.
With this being our origins, we thought it was very important to come back here and to fix it forward and give back to the community.
And a partnership with Highland College is providing trade students with paid, hands-on career experience.
Some of the people working here, this is their first career job, and others have been here for a while, but it's important for us to plug in the generations and be the glue that binds them.
That means young workers helping build the center for young islanders who need it.
The goal is for the renovation to be complete sometime this fall, with teens filling the space shortly after. Maria Saru, CTV News, Montague, Prince Edward Island.
Thank you, Maria. Time for our final break here. When we come back, highlights from the Highland Games.
When people hear a bagpipe and or a pipe band, it brings back various memories.
From kilts to the caber toss, thousands come together to celebrate the 161st Highland Games in Antigonish. We'll get down to the TSN, CTV, and Crave are your home for coverage of FIFA World Cup. And on certain dates, CTV News at 5 and 6 will move to CTV 2, and that includes tomorrow and Wednesday. Go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to see the full schedule. Final story now. Thousands gathered in Antigonish, Nova Scotia for the 161st Highland Games. CTV's Vanessa Wright has more on the event that celebrates Scottish culture.
The Highland Games is back in Antigonish for its 161st year.
It's been running since 1861, and we are the longest continuously running Highland Games in Canada.
Thousands were in attendance for Saturday's festivities. The week-long event celebrates everything there is to love about Scottish culture.
Historically, the Scots were kind of driven from their homeland. The Highlanders were driven from their homeland, and a lot of them settled in our shores in the early 1800s. And so it was really important to them to preserve this culture. So that's a tradition that we try to uphold today.
From Highland Dance to the Clan March, crowds took in the sights and sounds. Many enjoyed this round of heavy events.
Over that shoulder.
So it's a medley of different implements, all meant to be thrown, from stones, weights, hammers, which is occurring right now, caber toss, and weight over bar.
Committee member and past president of the Antigonish Highland Society says the pipe bands are always a crowd favorite.
It's a music of the culture, and I think that, you know, when people hear a bagpipe and or a pipe band, it brings back various memories. And of course, it was a memory that's associated with happy times, but also associated with funerals and stuff such as that, where there's laments played when a person is being laid to rest. So it's very meaningful.
About 30,000 people will have attended when the week-long event wraps up.
The beauty of it is that our community, while it was traditionally Scottish, has become so much more diverse, and we're seeing so many people of different cultures take part, from the Highland Dance stage to the heavy events. It's fantastic to see such diversity on the crowd, and I think that's a big factor. It's becoming more of a community event than strictly a cultural event.
One that many look forward to and everyone enjoys. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, and beautiful to see the sun cooperating there as well, Kaylin.
That's right. So coming up at 6, we're going to be talking a little bit more about some sun, some heat, but also a risk of thunderstorms and when the Maritimes can expect to get a break from the heat and humidity.
Thank you very much. We will see you and Todd at 6. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. The national news is next.